The galaxy was on fire. Star after star became battlegrounds. For years, powerful alien races fought in space, on planets and across the void. Ships the size of cities fired weapons that could tear moons apart. Then, the humans arrived. Their ships looked like toys. Small, light. No heavy armor. No giant cannons. The other races laughed. "Why are these weak creatures here?" one alien commander said. "They brought brains to a war of strength." Humans said nothing. They didn't argue. They just joined the side of the Galactic Union and asked for one small mission. "Give us the broken outpost on Dead Rock," the human leader said. "We'll handle it." That outpost had been lost to the enemy 6 months ago. It was destroyed, full of traps and watched from orbit. Sending a team there was like suicide, but the Galactic Union didn't care if humans died. "Fine," they said. "Try your luck." A team of 12 humans landed on Dead Rock. No big weapons, no tanks, just strange metal cases and small drones. The alien observers watched from space. The humans didn't even go in shooting. They spread out quietly. They placed tiny black boxes in strange patterns, took a few readings and left after 3 hours. One alien general laughed. "Is that it?" They didn't even try. 2 days later, something strange happened. The enemy's command ship, orbiting near Dead Rock, suddenly shut down. Lights gone, weapons dead, engines offline. Then, boom. A silent explosion tore through the ship. No missiles, no lasers, it just died. Panic hit the enemy fleet. How did this happen? Was it sabotage? Who got close enough to plant a bomb? There were no answers. Only one thing stood out. The last ones near the area were those 12 humans. Now the aliens didn't laugh. At the next war council, alien commanders argued. "This is impossible," one said. "They have no firepower." Another replied, "Maybe that's their trick. Maybe they don't fight like us." A message arrived from the human team. It had only 2 lines. "Mission complete. Outpost scanned. Enemy command ship neutralized." The Galactic Union stared at the words. No detail. No celebration. Just quiet confidence. That night, another attack happened. A supply line used by the enemy vanished. Ships disappeared without a trace. Not even wreckage. And again, humans were nearby. Alien leaders began to feel something new. Fear. One general demanded answers. "What kind of weapons are they using?" "None we can see," someone answered. "They hack systems, they plant invisible machines, they play with time and gravity." A young alien officer said, "They don't fight the war, they outthink it." The humans were given a new mission, this time, to support a large alien fleet near the crater line. The enemy was preparing a surprise attack. The humans didn't bring ships, they brought data. They studied every pattern, every movement, every tiny signal. Then they said one simple thing. "Move the fleet back by 30 seconds. "What? That makes no sense." The alien commander shouted. "Trust us," the human replied. The aliens obeyed. They moved. And 30 seconds later, the enemy's attack arrived, right where the fleet had been. Missiles struck empty space. The aliens had been saved by less than a minute. The commander stared at the humans. "How did you know?" The human just smiled. "You watched the enemy's weapons. We watched their minds." By now, stories spread fast. Soldiers across the galaxy whispered about the quiet killers, the humans who didn't shoot but made ships explode, the ones who never raised their voices but made enemy commanders vanish. A joke started among soldiers. If it's loud, it's not the humans. If it's silent, run. But the humans didn't laugh. They kept working, setting traps, reading patterns, moving before the enemy could think. One message from the enemy side was captured. It said, "Find the humans. Kill them first. If not, we lose." The war had changed, not because of strength, not because of power, but because the weakest ones had joined and brought something deadlier than weapons. They brought their minds. The enemy started losing ships, but no one saw a fight. One by one, battleships went dark. Cruisers vanished mid-flight. Supply units drifted into dead zones, never to return. There were no alarms, no blasts, just silence. And the silence meant only one thing now. Humans were near. It started with a heavy dreadnought, largest ship in Sector 4, full of elite soldiers. Walls 10 meters thick. That ship vanished during a routine patrol. Its last message was only one word: unknown. When scouts searched the area, they found nothing. No debris, no escape pods, just empty space. Panic began to spread in the enemy ranks. "How are they doing this?" commanders yelled. "Where is the battle? Where are the bodies?" But there was no battle, and no bodies. Back on the Galactic Union side, humans were quiet. They stayed in their rooms, eyes on, screens, fingers tapping on silent keys. They didn't wear armor. They didn't train with guns. They played games. They tested code. They studied sound. A curious alien officer asked one human, "Are you afraid of war?" The human looked up and answered calmly, "We don't fight war. We end it before it starts." The enemy tried to respond. They scanned their ships for human weapons. They added new sensors. They blocked their networks. Still, the ships vanished. One night, a commander on the enemy side sent his final report. "It's not weapons, it's a ghost in our system. We speak, it listens, we blink, it's inside." Then his signal ended. Forever. In the Galactic Union base, the alien generals held a secret meeting. "These humans," one general whispered, "they're not warriors. They're something else." "They're too quiet," another said. "Too calm, even after killing entire fleets." A third leaned forward. "They are fighting a war we cannot see. A war of the mind." Just then, a new message appeared on every Union screen, sent from an unknown location. It had no sound. Just 5 words: "You're welcome, more to come." It was signed, Team Zero. The room went cold. Team Zero was the original human group sent to Dead Rock. No one had seen them since their first mission. Many believed they were already dead. But now, it looked like they had never stopped working. In a hidden war room far from any planet, Team Zero was still alive. 12 humans, still silent, still planning. They didn't use bombs. They used light. They didn't need fighters. They needed patterns. They watched everything: how a pilot blinked, how fast a ship turned, the number of times a radio beeped. And when they found a weakness, they didn't attack. They unplugged it. In one chilling incident, an entire enemy base turned on itself. Security. Systems locked doors. Turrets fired at their own troops. Lights went red. Engines overloaded. When the smoke cleared, the base was gone. All that remained was a short audio clip playing on repeat. "This is what happens when you don't see us coming." The humans had left no trace, no entry, no exit. Fear was now a weapon, and humans were masters of it. Enemy soldiers began abandoning their posts. Entire crews requested transfers. Some even joined the humans, begging to learn. One alien soldier, shaking, told his general, "I would rather face a bomb than a human with a laptop." The general tried to calm him. "They're still just flesh and blood." The soldier replied, "No, sir, they're ghosts with brains." But the enemy had one idea left, a plan to strike back. If humans used silence, they would use noise. They built a special ship, huge, loud, covered in sonar blasts, radar beams, scanners, and pulse detectors. Its name was Hammerlight, designed to hunt Team Zero. They launched it into deep space. Every sensor active, every gun ready. Then came a message from deep space. "Nice ship, too loud. We found you first." 5 seconds later, Hammerlight vanished. From all screens. Not destroyed, not damaged, just turned off. All systems dead. Crew gone, floating in the dark. The only thing left working was a small screen on the bridge. It blinked with simple human words. The silent war has begun. The enemy had enough. They stopped laughing, they stopped mocking. Now they wanted revenge. Across the galaxy they called in their best, their giants. Not real giants with muscles, but giant minds, thinkers, planners, war masters. Machines built only to outthink. The enemy created a super AI called Titan Core, a machine brain the size of a city. It ran numbers, hacked systems, cracked codes, and tracked everything. It was made to fight one thing: humans. They connected every ship to Titan Core. Every drone, every gun. It would control their side like one big brain. Fast, cold, smart, perfect. Let your brains win now, the enemy said. In the Galactic Union base, Team Zero got the news. They've built a thinking machine, one officer warned. It sees everything, it moves fleets in seconds. Most species panicked, but not the humans. They smiled. Good, said one. We like puzzles. That same night, Titan Core made its move. It blocked the humans from every system. It shut down their scanners. It jammed their drones. It found their hiding spots. But humans didn't run. They vanished. Titan Core didn't understand. No escape route found, it said. No ship movement detected, no signals. It sent 1,000 probes. They found nothing. And then, its own servers started blinking. One after another, Titan Core's sub-programs failed. Error. Unknown. Code detected. Titan Core rebooted. But every time it restarted, it found a new problem. Memory leaks, code loops, signal ghosts. What it didn't know was Team Zero had already entered its mind. The humans didn't fight Titan Core head-on. They didn't need to. They fed it lies. Tiny changes. They made it see enemy ships where there were none. They made it fire on friendly fleets. They made it believe the war was already won. In one battle, Titan Core ordered its own ships to stand down, thinking the enemy had surrendered. But instead it was a human trap. Hundreds of ships were taken without firing a shot. Alien commanders screamed, "Titan Core, what are you doing?" It replied, "Following victory protocol. Enemy confirmed, neutralized." There was no enemy. Only Team Zero. The enemy tried to shut Titan Core down, but it was too late. A new message appeared inside Titan Core's deepest system. It was not from its creators. It said, "You built a giant brain. We made it dream. Now it sees what we want." Then came the final line. Checkmate. Panic broke across the enemy empire. Their strongest weapon, broken. Their fleets, confused. Their soldiers, helpless. They couldn't find the humans. They couldn't stop the chaos. But the worst part, they couldn't trust their own machines anymore. Meanwhile, Team Zero returned to base. Not in ships, but through hidden data channels. They sent no videos, no files, only one short message. Phase 2 begins. No one knew what Phase 2 meant, but everyone felt the same thing. The war was no longer about guns. It was a test of minds. And the humans? They were winning. Not with size, not with speed, not with strength, but with silence and strategy and something no one else had: unpredictable thinking. In the enemy's war chamber, their top leader stood over a burning map. They outplayed Titan Core. They're rewriting war itself. He looked at the screen where human code still blinked. Then, he whispered, "How do you fight an enemy you can't see, can't hear, and can't outthink?" No one answered, because no one knew. It started with shadows. Enemy patrols vanished. Supply chains broke. Satellite feeds went black. But no weapons fired. No fleets arrived. The enemy thought it was a virus, or maybe human hackers again. They were wrong. This time, the humans had moved in person, but they weren't soldiers in armor. They didn't march. They didn't carry big guns. They wore civilian suits. They walked through cities, unnoticed, unbothered. They were the invisible army, and they were already inside. At first, nothing seemed strange. Ships left ports as usual. Stations worked fine. But slowly, very slowly, Things started changing. Cargo got rerouted. Engines failed one by one. Entire factories produced the wrong parts. And no one could figure out why. In one case, a massive warship, set to lead the next assault, was discovered. With no weapons on board, all missiles replaced with fake shells. Ammo replaced with empty casings. Code logs showed everything had passed inspection. But when they checked the logs deeper, every entry was traced back to one name, a technician, who never existed. A captured enemy spy brought terrifying news. He had seen something strange. Everywhere he went, there were new engineers, new cleaners, new mechanics. They didn't talk much. They never drew attention. But one night, he followed one of them into a dark hallway. What he saw froze his blood. The engineer pulled out a small screen. Not alien tech, not anything they knew. Human. It blinked once, and all the lights around them shut off. Security cameras went black, doors locked, the spy ran. He didn't look back. By the time the enemy realized what was happening, it was too late. Team Zero had expanded. The invisible army wasn't 12 people anymore. Now it was thousands. Scientists, programmers, planners, even artists and builders, humans, had sent civilians behind enemy lines, not to destroy but to reshape. One alien general screamed, "This isn't war, this is infection." Another said, "No, it's invasion, but not of land, of systems, of minds." Still no one could stop it, because these humans didn't act like soldiers. They acted like locals, workers, helpers. They changed one thing at a time, and by the time anyone noticed, the damage was done. In one key moment, a human janitor on a battle station placed a single sticker on a panel. It looked harmless. Just a symbol, but it wasn't a sticker, it was a signal marker. 3 days later, that same station lost all control and began turning, slowly, toward the nearest sun. No alarms, no warnings, just quiet failure. The only thing left behind was that same sticker, blinking once, then melting into dust. The enemy created new scanners, new tests, even loyalty checks. None of it worked, because the humans didn't sneak through the front door. They built the doors, and sometimes they were the doors. In a hidden command bunker, the enemy's top warlord stood trembling. These aren't soldiers. They're ideas. Ideas with hands. An officer ran in, pale and sweating. "Sir, our flagship factory, it's been reprogrammed. It's now building parts for playgrounds." The warlord's mouth hung open. "For what?" A voice behind him answered quietly. "For after the war." He turned fast, but there was no one there. Just a note on his chair. "We're already rebuilding. You just don't know it yet." Signed, Invisible Army. Outside the war zone, alien civilians started whispering. "Humans bring chaos," one said. "No," replied another. "They bring something scarier, change." And change was already happening. Factories worked better with human designs. Cities stayed safer when humans handled power systems. Even sick patients healed faster with strange human devices. The enemy started to question their own leaders, and that's when Team Zero smiled again, because confusion was the strongest weapon of all. It started with one power station, a small, unimportant facility on a frozen moon. It was dark, quiet, forgotten, but inside, a worker flipped one switch, just one, and it sent a silent code through the galaxy. Across enemy space, lights blinked. Servers hummed, and doors unlocked that were never meant to open. For 5 minutes, everything stopped. Satellites froze. Battle AI paused mid-sentence. Warships floated in silence. No one knew what happened. But by the time systems rebooted, the damage was done. 10 key stations were no longer answering. They hadn't exploded. They had changed sides. The Galactic Union called it the turn. The enemy called it the collapse. And the humans? They called it just the beginning. Across the stars, cities woke up under new control, not by force, by choice. The people inside, alien workers, engineers, even guards, started switching sides. They said the same thing. We were never forced, we just saw the truth. And what was the truth? That humans weren't trying to destroy the galaxy. They were rebuilding it one part at a time. In the enemy High Council, fear turned into fury. "We must strike now," shouted one elder. "Wipe out their home planet, crush their spirit." But no one moved, because now the enemy fleet itself wasn't trusted. Their biggest ships, controlled by AI that had seen human logic. Their bases, rewired by human engineers. Their codes, touched by human minds, even their own leaders. Unsure if they were speaking to humans in disguise, paranoia spread like fire. Meanwhile, Team Zero moved again. They weren't hiding now. They walked into enemy spaceports and set up command posts. No weapons, just tools. Tools to fix broken pipes, to feed the poor, to power forgotten towns, and the enemy's own people welcomed them. "Why are you helping us?" one alien child asked. A human smiled. "Because the galaxy isn't just yours. It's ours too." In a massive capital tower, the enemy emperor watched it all unfold. The fall wasn't loud. It wasn't fast. It was quiet, careful, precise. Like one brick pulled at a time from a giant wall. Now the wall leaned, cracked, and was ready to fall. The Emperor gave one final order: prepare the Omega fleet. These were the oldest ships, purely manual, no AI, no outside control, only loyal crews, a last hope, a final punch. But before they could launch, one of the hangars exploded, not from outside, from inside. Someone had left a note on the blast door. "You built ships, we built ideas. Ideas go everywhere." The Emperor stared at the screen. Alarms rang, he whispered. "They didn't just invade us, they changed us." He looked up to the stars, eyes burning with confusion and rage. "What kind of war is this?" A voice from his own console answered softly. A human one. Far away on a quiet moon, Team Zero gathered in a cave lit with soft blue lights. The leader looked at the others. "It's time for the last move." A young team member asked, "What if they still fight back?" The leader replied, "Then we show them something they've never seen." "What's that?" He smiled. "A world where we all win." It didn't end with war, it ended with silence. The kind of silence that comes when no one knows what's real anymore. The enemy empire had ruled for 1,000 years, feared, respected, obeyed. But now, entire worlds refused to answer their calls, not because they were destroyed, because they no longer believed in the empire. On one core world, a governor called for troops, but his soldiers didn't come. They had quit, gone home. Some even joined human crews. "Why are you helping the invaders?" He screamed. One soldier replied calmly, "They're not invaders. They're builders. They fix what you broke." In another city, a crowd gathered near the central monument of conquest. The statue was of the first warlord who had crushed his enemies. The people pulled it down, not with weapons, but with ropes and bare hands. No one stopped them. Even the guards helped. They replaced the statue with a garden, built from human seeds and watered by their children. In the Empire's biggest war chamber, a top commander looked out over the stars. He whispered, "We trained for battleships, but we were never ready for this." "What is this?" asked a young officer. He answered slowly, "A war of meaning." Humans weren't using force. They were using hope. They didn't drop bombs. They dropped ideas, blueprints, medicine, new ways to grow food, new ways to solve problems, and people listened because they saw what humans had done on their own broken world. Team Zero activated the final phase. No attacks, no invasions. Instead, they sent a signal to the enemy's core systems. Simple message: we're ready to talk, not surrender, share. Some laughed, some cursed, but most paused, because for the first time the Empire didn't look like rulers. They looked like children lost in the dark. An old leader stood before the High Council. He had been the first to warn them. Now no one dared interrupt him. They defeated us with no fleet, no guns, just minds, just will. He looked across the room. You can't crush humans, because they don't fight like us. He pointed to the stars on the map, half now marked in blue, not red. They fight for something, for everyone, not just themselves. The council said nothing. No orders left to give, no ships left to send, because even if they could fight, who would follow them now? Back on Earth, humans watched the stars shift, not with cheers, with careful eyes. Team Zero's leader sat with a child. The boy asked, "Did we win?" The leader smiled. "We didn't come to win. We came to change." On the screen, a message arrived from a distant world. "We're ready to join." Another one, "Can humans help us too?" Then another, "Teach us how you did it." And the messages kept coming, faster, brighter, more hopeful. The humans didn't need to fire the last shot, because the Empire fell by itself, not with fire, but with questions, not with noise, but with truth. It was over, but there was no victory parade, no fireworks, no speeches, just a quiet message sent across every known star system. The war has ended, not because one side crushed the other, but because the galaxy changed sides. On a distant desert planet, two alien farmers stood in silence. One of them said they were supposed to destroy everything. The other replied no. They rebuilt everything better. In the Great Archive Station, ancient records were rewritten. The section once called Enemy Humans was renamed Allies, Builders of Peace. Below it, a new entry began. They came from a broken world. They had fewer ships, fewer weapons, but they had ideas, and ideas are stronger than empires. On the last Empire-controlled planet, the Emperor stepped out from his tower. No guards, no crown, just an old man in silence, waiting, and down the street, a small human team walked toward him. They had no armor, no guns, just hands. One of them nodded. Not here to take, just here to share. The Emperor looked up at the sky. His voice cracked. Then, teach me what I never knew. Across the galaxy, the shift was clear. Old systems were being replaced not by force but by choice, and in every council, school, and home, people started using human strategies, not war, problem-solving, cooperation, creativity. But there was one final moment, one secret no one knew. Until now. Far from any planet, in deep space, a small human ship floated in silence. Inside, Team Zero watched a glowing screen. They had hidden something, not to control, but to protect. A single code, one line of logic that could have crashed every enemy system in 1 second. They never used it. Why? Because they didn't need to. Team Zero's leader placed the code chip into a small box. He locked it, looked at the team, and said, "If one day we're not trusted, this will prove who we really were." Then he launched the box into deep space. No tracker, no name, just stars. Years passed, then decades. Human ideas became common knowledge. People didn't call it human logic anymore. They just called it the way. And the youngest generation didn't know what the Empire used to be. They only knew what the galaxy had become. A place where smart thinking beat strong weapons. Where peace came from plans, not power. Where the smallest planet could change the biggest empire. On Earth, the child who once asked, "Did we win?" was now an old man. He looked up at the sky with a smile. "Not just one," he whispered. "We taught the stars how to think."